What's up, pessimistic gardeners? Welcome to the jungle once again. Today we're going to start preparing some of our raised beds for the fall planting season. In the past, we used to start seeds at the end of July and keep sowing seeds through September. But with it being hotter and hotter every year, we're probably going to be pushing our planting season back this year to maybe we'll start seeds at the end of August, maybe, and start putting things in the ground in October if we're lucky. So we'll see, but it's hot. It's unbearable to be outside, but we do our best. So here's a bed that we're preparing. And the method we use to fill our beds is similar to Hugel culture, or I've heard some people call it the lasagna method. So rather than buying lots and lots of soil to fill these beds, we every year, it sinks down. The way we do it, it sinks down. So this is left over from last year. You can see it has sunk down at least 6 inches, in some places up to a foot, and we'll refill it every summer. And then it will be up to the top again when we start our planting season. By the end of the planting season, it will look like this. So what we fill it with to start, any branches you have, so like branches, small logs, bark, hard, chunky, woody debris will go in first. You can dig down and put that under the existing soil if you want to. We didn't have any of that this time, so what we did do is chaya. So you might have seen my last video about chaya. We have a lot of it. There's some in the background there. There's some there. We have a lot of chaya plants, and some people have asked me if it would be good for chop and drop, and no, you cannot use chaya for chop and drop because it will not decompose and die when you drop it. It will grow. Chop and drop is a great way to get more chaya plants. So the only way we can get rid of them, they are very hard to kill, very hard, the branches. The only way we can get rid of them is by burying them deep. So either burying them at the very bottom of a compost pile, digging a hole, putting them in, and then piling soil on top, or doing our lasagna method. So we cut down a bunch of chaya plants yesterday so that we can reach them to harvest because they were too tall. And all the branches are in here. So that's a lot of chaya branches that you're seeing. And then we did a lot of pruning of other plants, and we did weed pulling. So all of our weeds, our chaya branches, any prunings from other plants, threw them all in here yesterday, filled it up as much as we could. And now we've also got cardboard, that's another part of this, compost, and some homemade mulch over there. So we're gonna do a pile of garden lasagna to get this ready. And this will break down over the next few months until we're ready to plant in it. By the time we're ready to, people who are from up north watching this and thinking that it won't break down that fast, it does down here. So by the time we're ready to grow, to plant in these beds, this will be mostly decomposed. The chaya branches will still be there. They should be dead by then, but they will still be there. And they add some, little holes for oxygen and water to move through the soil for little insects and other invertebrates to hide in. But we'll fill this up and let it make its own soil. So now I'm gonna start adding layers. All right, so I've added my cardboard layer there. You didn't need to watch me do it. I think you guys know how to put cardboard down. And quick note about the cardboard, because I know some gardening blogs and other gardening YouTube channels have been saying that they're not using cardboard now. I saw one study that somebody shared, just one study about cardboard that made this person say they won't use it. That I forget which chemical compound in the cardboard, dioxin or something like that. I don't remember. Needless to say, they found that that particular chemical compound was found in the chickens that were raised on a bedding of that shredded cardboard. And so because that person was saying, oh, it's probably all through the food chain in your yard, but a study of chickens inside a cage with just cardboard bedding showing that it gets into the chickens does not mean it's going to get into your plants and into your body by using cardboard in your garden, because those chickens were living in it all day long, every day, in a very different environment from out here where there's sunshine and water and invertebrates breaking it down. So that chemical compound is going to act very different out here. Again, it could be a problem, but based on my reading of the study, I concluded that I will not use cardboard as bedding for chickens. but I don't have any chickens, so that's not a problem. I won't use cardboard as bedding for any pets that I have, but I still feel like it's okay to use it in my garden. I mean, people have been doing this for decades, and I think if there were health consequences from using cardboard in our gardens, we would know by now. And in terms of possible environmental consequences, there's a lot worse you could do. I'm not concerned about it. You see my yard is full of life, full of insect life, invertebrate life, bacteria, fungi. It is extremely diverse in this yard, so I don't think the cardboard, as far as I can tell, is having an impact. Again, my opinion is not scientific. It's not a same as scientific evidence, but there also isn't, in my opinion, enough scientific evidence to say don't use cardboard in your garden. But that's up to you. If that one study on chickens is going to make you say no, that's up to you. You don't need to use cardboard in your garden. Use something else. But I'm using it. Anyway, sorry for that little diatribe, but just want to put that out there. Just research it for yourself. Don't go based on what somebody says on YouTube, even me. Do your own research to see if you think cardboard would be bad for your garden. And again, it's your own opinion. It's up to you. It's your garden. You do what you want. So don't come after me, tell me I'm doing terrible things using cardboard in my garden if that's your opinion, because in my opinion, it's fine for me. You know, you do you, and don't judge. So, or judge silently. Don't judge on my page. Get out of here with that. All right, so next we're going to put the compost. Now, the reason I do put the cardboard on top of all those weeds is because I really need to suffocate that chaya, guys. If I don't put that there, if I just do my next layer of compost and then mulch on top of that, I promise you the chaya will grow through it, and I will have a bed of thousands of chaya plants. So the cardboard is necessary for me, at least 2 layers thick, to really suffocate that chaya and make sure it rots and breaks down and does not grow, so that I can grow other things in my yard. Otherwise, this place would be a chaya monoculture, I promise you. It's a great plant, but it just doesn't die. All right, so I added on top of the cardboard a layer of unfinished compost. So this compost isn't completely finished cooking, still got some time to go, and that's what we want because we still need time to go anyway before we plant. So this stuff is all going to cook together, but it's going to help get the composting process started for the rest of the stuff that we have in there. Yeah, this is pretty gross, gooky compost. It was in one of those spinny compost plastic bins, which I don't think are good for Florida. It's just too hot here, and they're black and plastic, and the sun heats it up and literally cooks it. So yeah, it doesn't smell great. It's not a great composting process, but we have them, so we use them. But ideally, just open bay composting is best for Florida with our heat. Those black plastic things are just not the... Oh, did you see that lizard just grabbed an earwig from the compost? The lizards love to follow me around when I'm putting out compost because my compost is full of insects, especially roaches, and the lizards will wait on the edges and run over and grab any roaches as they come running out. So that's always fun to watch. Did you have a nice snack there, little buddy? But very thankful that my husband helped me get this compost out because it was full of roaches. They were running everywhere as he was taking it out of the spinny bin for me. I would usually do it myself, but I did have surgery last week. Oh, look at that. That lizard just got a roach. Good job, buddy. I know these Cuban anoles are invasive, but I like them because they do eat the roaches. I've had them pull them off my feet before. Jump onto my feet, grab a roach, and run away. So they are heroes in my book. They're little roach-eating heroes. But anyway, normally I would do this heavy work myself, but this compost is very heavy, and after my surgery last week, even though I'm mostly healed... There's another lizard eating roaches. Sorry, ADD over here. Even though I'm mostly healed, I did notice that any heavy movements, any kind of muscle strain is putting pain on my surgical incision from having skin cancer removed from my face. Again, second time having skin cancer removed from my face. And from anyone thinking that's because I don't wear sunscreen and stuff now, I do. I wear so much sunscreen, hats, wide-brimmed hats, UV protective clothing. It's all damage done in my 20s when I was young and stupid and didn't think I needed sunscreen and had outdoor jobs and worked outside all day with no sunscreen and no hat. But I know better now, so please don't give me sunscreen recommendations and hat recommendations. This is old damage that's catching up with me now, and yeah, that's why I also didn't garden at all last weekend. I was recovering from having my face sliced open. Okay, so we've got our compost. It's gonna cook. It's gonna start cooking that cardboard, and then we'll cook the chai and everything else. All right, and here we are at the finished product. I added all the mulch on top of the compost, and this is all homemade mulch. You can use whatever mulch you have. You have wood chip mulch. I've heard of sugarcane mulch. I'd love to get my hands on some of that locally, but I think that's only a thing in Australia right now. Here in Florida, they just burn the sugarcane. So no sugarcane mulch for us, but we used homemade mulch this time. So this is a mixture of saw palmetto fronds that have been trimmed off, because we're trying to keep the saw palmettos somewhat as trimmed as they would be if there were natural fires. We cannot burn our yard. So instead, they just get pruned aggressively, and then the palm fronds get run over with our battery-powered lawnmower, because I don't need that noisy gas-powered lawnmower in my life. And there's also a mixture of other things that were on the ground where it was mulched. So we have a lot of pine trees in the yard, so there's a lot of pine needles that were on the ground there, oak leaves, grass clippings. Just all that was run over with the mower to make this kind of mixed mulch. Some of this stuff is green now, but it will turn brown in the sun and become brown matter. And yeah, you might be thinking, that looks like a lot. It's about a foot over where the top of the bed is, and you might be thinking, that's way too full. What are you going to do about that? I promise you this is going to break down. By the time our planting starts, it'll probably be right at the level of the bed. And then at the end of the planting season, it's going to look like this guy here. So that's where it starts. Starts like that, and then that's where it ends. This one we have already started throwing some debris in. We'll probably do the lasagna in this bed next weekend. And yeah, that's it. That's our beautiful lasagna. Doesn't that look delicious if you were an invertebrate or a bacteria or a fungus that feeds on decaying plant matter? Absolutely. You've got everything there. Half-finished compost, fresh pruned stuff, some woody stuff, some green stuff, some tiny pine needles, some paper. You've got a little bit of everything. So all the creatures should be pretty happy. They're going to break this down, turn it to a very rich soil that we can plant kale in later. So this bed here that's in part shade, this is our only kale plants that are still alive, and it's almost August, and that's unheard of for Southwest Florida. All the other kale plants in the garden have died, but these ones are still barely hanging on. So that's good to see. And yeah, we'll start our planting season. Hopefully some rain will fall tonight or tomorrow and wet this down. I'm not going to wet it down with the hose. We'll wait for the rain to do that. But if we don't get rain for a few days, then I will wet it down with the hose. You do want to add some moisture in there to help start breaking down everything. But that's all there is to it. To a lasagna bed, to making your own soil without buying any. You just have to have patience and some hard work. And of course, I can't forget to show you, but this is what the soil will look like once it's all broken down. So that's what it looks like. That's homemade soil, just from the lasagna method that you see here. You will also see some perlite mixed in, because we do dump our old soil into the bed, so it's got some perlite in it from some pots that were emptied in here when they were done. But it's going to be beautiful, crumbly, dark soil like this after a few months. Believe it or not, it will look like that, thanks to the bacteria and fungi and invertebrates breaking everything down for us. And there's a shell that came from our shell path right next to this bed. So it is possible to make your own beautiful organic soil for no cost. Just some elbow grease and some locally harvested materials from your own garden and compost. By the way, here's our macadamia nut that was full of nuts, and we won't have to figure out how to harvest them or crack them open because the squirrels have been eating them all. It was a huge harvest this year. There were hundreds on this tree, but looks like we're not going to get any of them, because I was reading, and the way to know when they're ripe is they just fall off the tree. But the squirrels are eating them while they're still green before they're anywhere near ripe. So no macadamia nuts for us this year. That's too bad. But what we will have is some beautiful Florida Hass avocados. So I'll talk about them in another video separately another day. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed learning about making the lasagna bed. Here's another one that we just started yesterday, piling prunings in. And I hope you will have the courage and the energy to try it yourself in your own yard and see just how easy it can be to make your own homemade soil for no money at all. All right, thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you enjoy your next gardening foray. Bye.